are watching KUTV Primetime News with Omondi Otieno.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on KUTV Primetime News. You can share thoughts with us on our social media platforms on Facebook, KUTV Kenya, and on Twitter, KUTV_Kenya. The first years have redefined what it means to be a female in the society. Girls today are told they can do anything and become anyone. Boys, though, have been left behind. It is no longer enough to be a man. That creates the need to empower the boy to be an acceptable societal man. Today, we had a discussion with Senior Chacha to deliberate on elevating masculinity. Take a listen. Whether they are being told to man up, to be tough, or that men don't cry, you find boys are always on the receiving end of messages that create rigid rules around masculinity. Today, we are having a discussion with Senior Chacha to deliberate on elevating manhood and creating a better version of men inside themselves. So, Senior Chacha,
yes,
it's really a great pleasure to have you here on this discussion.
Thank you.
So you may introduce yourself to our viewers. They get to know who Senior Chacha is.
So my name is Chacha, and Senior Chacha, and I'm a regular citizen, as I may say, just concerned with how men are striving and trying to come up and becoming better versions of themselves.
So right into the discussion, what do we mean by elevating masculinity?
Okay, elevating masculinity, I can elaborate it in this aspect that it's about bringing out the best version of a man, getting him to become the best version of himself by a thrive of his purpose and focusing on his career or his passion and becoming a more respectable and better person in the society at this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, traveling back in time, how does masculinity in the past compare with the current masculinity that we're having in our society right now?
Okay, I want to spread it into two.
Right.
There is still a traditional masculinity, and there's the modern one called the complicity masculinity. The traditional masculinity can also be referred to as the hegemony masculinity, which entailed a man to become a superior person or a superior being, and attributes about him were more like he's a leader, he's somebody who is the one to pull the shots, the one to do everything. And it is toxic in a way because it was about looking down upon others. Children were looked down upon by this masculine person called a man. The wife, the daughters, like especially if you divide it into two gender-wise, like a man and a woman, the man was supposed to look down upon the woman because he believes he's everything. He knows everything and he's the provider. Since most of the time, since he was the provider.
Right.
If you are the provider, definitely it means that you pull the shots. Like if you want something to be done, you literally say because you feel like you're entitled. So that whole entitlement became so bad to a point where you now find there are rape cases, you find there are gender-based violence, you find that they used to beat their women. This is what mostly it was based in our grandfathers and our fathers in those times. So I don't think that's what times are changing. The society is changing. Things are becoming different. Women are getting empowered, which is not bad. It's so nice, and it builds our economy. So times have changed, and we can't embrace that anymore. That's why we try to become this complicit.
Right.
A complicit man, or you embrace complicit masculinity. And in this case is where a man embraces a woman,
right,
but still defines the gender roles. The gender roles are still intact, but still he embraces the other gender, a woman. A man and a woman. Equality is upheld in this masculinity. You're still a man, and you can elevate yourself and become the best version of yourself to attract a woman who is also a better version of herself.
Right.
And that's why I pull that illustration where you can't plant plants and expect to yield apples or grapes. Right. So you become a better version of yourself in this complicit masculinity, for you to embrace getting somebody who is also a better version of herself. Yeah.
Now, so Chacha, what is it that creates that necessity to have a discussion on elevating masculinity? Could it be that men are deviating from their position in the society in, being masculine? They're deviating in a way, pulling away from, their position.
Yeah, I will say that, not really deviating, but they are not on the right track.
Right.
Most men are not on the right track. Most men are controlled by emotions. You find some of them are really beta males. They don't know what to do. They are not on their purpose. They don't know what they want to do with their life. And when you're 20 years of age,
right,
this is when you start to discover yourself. Not even 20, like 18, when you're done with high school and you're joining campus, is a rediscovering period, especially for guys. Because you now start to realize that you are now becoming a man. You now meet women, very diverse women. Now you at times you get confused. You now wonder what's going on. It's a rediscovering point where you now try to find yourself. So in this period between 20 and 30, if you don't find yourself at this time, you are lost. This is the time where you become a man. 20 and 30 is where you become a man. You find your goals. You find what you can do best. You venture in your career. You find also a woman who matches the best version of yourself.
Right.
Exactly. So if you don't build yourself and you waste your time focusing on women or focusing on miscellaneous, taking drugs, taking alcohol, you'll end up finding somebody who is also a person who takes drugs like you, somebody who doesn't have a purpose like you. So you stay in that small bed sitter together, drinking tap water and wasting your life in your early 20s.
Right.
Whereby within 20 and 25 you'll try and find yourself. Try and see, I'm Chacha. Yes, I'm Chacha. What should I do? I'm talented. I can play an instrument. I can play a guitar. I can play a trumpet. Why don't I do this? Do it to the level best. I can skate. Let me skate to the level best. I can do business. Let me try a business. Let me try and put it up and try and do it and become the best version of me.
Right.
Once I do that, let me go to the gym, build myself. Let me look nice, firm, and looking rigid like a real man. Let me be that way. And then also let me embrace the culture of equality. Let me be a person who accepts women as equals, and let me treat them nicely. When you become that, you become an ultimate man.
Right.
That you become a center of attraction to any kind of a person, not only women, even men. They'll be seeing you and they'll say, hey, this guy, he does everything. This guy is just so wonderful. You get? That's the point of becoming a man, an elevated man.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, Chacha, maybe we could also say something on the challenges facing the man. What are the things, what are, some of these aspects that are derailing men from becoming the elevated man that everyone wants to associate with, everyone wants to look up to?
Drugs, number one.
Right.
Drugs and substance abuse, alcohol, and women, and misappropriation of money and not knowing your purpose. Those are the main things that are draining. It is one river flowing in one direction, full of thousands and thousands of men who are getting lost and not knowing where they really want to head. As a man, and you want to be a better version of yourself, finances should be something that you should be able to really be able to manage and control. And also you need to be able to control yourself emotionally, knowing that you need to focus on yourself and do stuff.
Right.
So if you're on your purpose, definitely you won't have time for alcohol, you won't have time for chasing women, because you'll be focusing on your goals and focusing on what you want to be. Exactly, we don't pluck money from trees. Money, you earn it. There's no way money can come to you, so you have to chase it. And chasing it, you can't do it while you're doing these other things. It will be so hard. Yes, you might find money, you might get money, but again, you're channeling it to, if you're somebody who is into women, so many women, you end up losing all your money in women. And then in the long run, you've not built yourself. You'll still remain the same old, depressed version of yourself. A drug addict who loves women, is not focused, who does not know what he wants to do with his life.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, Chacha, what are some of the suggestions that you could bring so that to solve these problems of, the problems facing the man in the society that are derailing him from, becoming an elevated man? Because if you talk about this depression, you could also talk about the inferiority complex. You find that you're seeing other men the way they are, and you're finding, you can't match them. There's that aspect of inferiority complex. And then also maybe depression. Some people, it's drugs, they're finding themselves, they can't get away from it. So what are some of the, suggestions you could have to be a solution to these problems that are facing the man?
Okay, one thing I always tell my friends, comparison. Once you start comparing yourself with another person, that is something that is very bad. And especially, that's why I brought the topic about social media. Social media makes you feel like you are not doing anything, you're not making any progress. Or if you compare yourself with another guy, you feel like this person, it will motivate you, not make you feel lowly about yourself. There are people who are, you should understand that we are different, and there are people who have luck. Sometimes it's luck. Some people are even much more better than you. There are people who know how to go and send themselves to the world and do a lot of stuff and make money. And probably you can, yes, but time and probably the finances and probably where you come from, you're not motivated, things like that. So comparing yourself is very, very, very bad. You need to understand that everyone, just do you. Understand that you need to be someone. Once you understand yourself, you won't mind how somebody else is doing. You won't understand how somebody else is doing. So one thing I can advise is understand yourself. Even when you walk in the park here or in the streets of KU or wherever, you see different cars. You don't see one type of a car.
Sure.
It means we are different. Somebody else has a better fortune, somebody else doesn't have. So learn to focus on yourself and understand that these things are not supposed to bring you depression. If you understand yourself, they will never, because you'll understand that you are on your path and nobody can ever compare you. Try to be different. Focus on things that you become ultimate in, that can never be compared with somebody else. You be yourself. So once you be yourself and you do everything in accordance, like you are really focused, you will never go wrong.
Right.
You might not be a billionaire, but you won't go wrong.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Chacha, borrowing from Martin Luther King Jr., when he said that we are not free until everyone is free. So how can the complementary gender, now speaking about the ladies as well, how can they be elevated so that, we are having an all-round elevated society? So,
basing on Martin Luther, as you've referenced him,
right,
he's one of the most iconic person in the American history. And he's somebody who really fought for equality. Not only racial equality, because most of the time blacks were the ones who were being oppressed, but he also addressed the gender part of it, like men and women. As much as there was still a lot of problems and challenges in reference to that, men used to treat women so badly, as I've referenced to you about the traditional masculinity.
Right.
It was still there back in time. But right now, he didn't uphold that aspect. He didn't believe that, he believed that men are equal to women in the aspect that a man should not look down upon a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. I'm not saying that men and women are equal in the aspect that a man can do what a woman can do, and a woman can do what a man can do. In the aspect that a woman can help a man. A man naturally, even biblically, a man is a provider, a man is a leader. We agree. But it doesn't mean that a woman can't be a leader too. Yes, you are a leader, but how about we complement this woman who is coming into your life? How can she not help you also become a better leader? Because also you might have kids, and these kids also need guidance. So if you are the leader only, okay, will you lead the kids? Will you always be the one to show direction to the kids only? Also the woman does it.
Right.
And right now times have changed. Women are getting employed, they are earning big money. And you, if you are elevated, definitely you'd want somebody who is that way. So if you are a top stature man, you'll attract a top stature woman. It's not, there is no this thing that you think it's only in Nigerian films that a lowly person who is not doing anything will meet a prince or a queen and get married and fall in love.
Very right.
No, times have changed. You need somebody who matches you. You can't just sleep there and you wait somebody to just bring food to you on the table. So when you meet this kind of a person, this is your support system. This is your support system. Wherever you are broken, in terms maybe financial crisis, this is somebody who comes in. Whenever you're putting up a business or ideas, this is somebody who brings her own ideas too, and you make a cocktail of it and put it to work. You get?
Right.
So women, even these feminists, most of them, they are bitter because men are looking down upon them, not because they are really fighting for themselves. No, it's because men are looking down upon them. If men change and elevate and stop looking down upon women, these women will start embracing men.
So, Chacha, as we wind up this discussion, what could be your final messages to the young men and women outside there who are on the growth trajectory of their lives and careers?
I'd say I'm young. I'm still young. I'm in my early 20s. And I'm not putting myself in an exception. I'm also somebody who is flawed. I'm also trying to get up the ladder. I'm also trying to find myself. All that is what I'm trying also to do. But for what the little knowledge that I have, I'd like people to also embrace that and try and find themselves, find their purpose, and try and focus on their lives, especially men. I'm really addressing men because men are making women these days. They're making women feel that because so many men are better, they make women feel that we no longer have good men anymore. All men are the same. You've heard that statement before. Sure. All men are the same, or all men are dogs. You get? But it's because of the misled, the wrong direction that men are really going. So if we go to this nice direction and follow it, focusing ourselves on our purpose, and attract people who have become mind rich, and people who can also become better. So we need to really focus on ourselves and focus on getting the better version of ourselves, so that we can also have a partner who is better and have a nice family and become a better family.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Chacha, for availing yourself for this discussion. We hope to have you here again and again.
It's my pleasure.
Right. So that has been Senior Chacha talking to us about elevated masculinity. It's about men and it's also about women. So it's not something that is biased on one gender. We hope to have such discussions here again and again until we have a society that is all round elevated. Thank you. And with that discussion, it's time we take another break. So keep it right here. See you on the other side.